Hey you guys, hey you guys, hey you guys. Thank you guys for being so patient with me. Um, I'm in. I just want to know, hey Ann, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? So, Ann, just share and let people know that they can come into the show now because I'm ready to get started. I'm ready. Okay, hold on. Try again. Okay. So I'm gonna just go right into this because I know you guys are saying, "Hey, Beth, what's going on?" I know you guys are probably saying, "What in the world is going on?" Well, guess what? I'm saying it too. But my guest is very patient. He's back with me, and we're going to get through this right here. So, um, somebody let Willette know that she can sign in there because she just texted me. So somebody let her know that now she can sign in. So this is the name of the show for tonight is I Do It For My Culture. And the reason why I chose this show, because I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, but in Florida, they're trying to pass a law whereas Black history is not to be shown. I mean, not to be shown, not to be taught in schools. So they don't want you to learn anything about your history because, hey, Deidre, they don't want you to learn anything about your history because it's saying that Black people are becoming woke. And becoming woke, guys, we're starting to think. We're starting to do things on our own. And we're starting to realize that it's much more than what we're being taught. So if this is going on in Florida, how long do you think that it's going to take to reach these other states? You have governors and things that are saying stuff like, slavery was not a bad thing for Black people because Black people learned a lot through slavery. I don't know about you guys, but I learned absolutely nothing through slavery. I wasn't there doing slavery, but from what I read, from what I saw, from what they tried to teach, I learned absolutely nothing because what they did back in slavery, they were very submissive people, and I'm not that submissive. Not only were they very submissive people, a lot of things that they did, it was forced on them. So there's no cotton fields here. So picking cotton back in those days, what is it going to teach you now? It's a whole lot of stuff that was going on back then that you can't do now. So how did it benefit you? How did it help you? So people say, I send my kids to school because I want them to learn what's going on. In schools, they can only teach for so much in school, but it's up to us as parents to educate our kids and let them know exactly the contributions that we've made. So what I did, I brought I'm bringing someone on the show, and he's been very, very patient with me, right? Because I needed a younger point of view. I mean, I've been out of school for, I don't want to say a few years because I don't want you guys to attack me when I just say a few years, but I've been out of school for a little while. Hey, Willette, and he's in school now, so I just want a different opinion. Okay, so hold on, I'm going to bring him right in and we're going to get this show started. We'll be right in. Hey, Jaleel, how are you?
I'm great. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. So finally, we get to do this. If you guys remember from before, Jaleel was on a show that I had before. He was much younger, and we were talking about bullying, and it was an excellent show. So if you never saw it, it's on my YouTube. And you know what? Tonight, I'm going to repost that just so you guys can just get a feel of what's going on. So, Jaleel, introduce yourself again and let them know what you've been up to.
All right, guys. How you doing? My name is Jalil Thornton. I'm a senior at Montclair State University. My major in medical humanities, a minor in psychology.
Nice.
Yes, and this is the perfect topic right here. I love talking about us.
Well, you got the right person because I like to talk about us too. So, Jaleel, what have you been up to besides school?
Besides school, honestly, I've been working a lot. I've been working a lot. But for a good cause, just investing in myself right now. For
Nice,
things to
nice,
come, I
nice,
just
nice.
bought my first car. So
What kind
yeah.
of car is this?
I have a Nissan Sentra 2023.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice, nice. See, and I bet you picking cotton ain't teach you how to do that.
definitely not.
I bet it was not one bale of cotton or hay that you was contributing to get that car.
Right.
Congratulations.
Thank
So
you.
they said, hey, so you're still in school
Yeah.
and you're in college and you high school a couple years back. So when you were in school, what did they teach you about Black history?
High school?
Yeah.
If I'm being honest with you, the only history that I learned when it comes to African American culture really was in February. And it typically was standard around the same idols, not to take any greatness from their journey and what they did for us, but just certain people such as Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, um, Rosa Parks, and certain other stories that we really just don't know about or we weren't able to talk about. And if you do hear about it, it's not really in school. So you get the opportunity to research these people or do an assignment on them. But we talk about them since we were younger. So I would say what first, second grade, we knowing about Dr. Martin Luther King. So getting into high school, I would say I really wouldn't. We really haven't learned anything about our culture, if I'm being honest. And a
No,
lot
you
of
are
the
being
history,
honest.
yeah, and a lot of the history that I've learned, I can't recall.
So
So
my whole thing was like, okay, you go to school and
right,
teachers are teaching, but it's up to your family to educate you because with
right,
that education become a legacy. And you mentioned February, and I have a problem with February. And people are like, why? I have a problem with February. Hey Faye, the reason why I have a problem with February because Black History Month, right? Black History Month at one point it was a longer period of time than what it is, but they switched it to February. February only got 28 days. Sometimes it got 29. But when they start showing you things about Black history, they don't show you anything about things that were invented. They don't tell you things about Black people invented all of this stuff, but they didn't have the money to patent it. So they sold it to our counterparts for a fraction of what it's worth. And now they millionaires and billionaires off our backs,
right.
but they don't tell you that. So my problem with Black History Month is don't show me nothing about slavery. Don't show me Shaka Zulu. Don't show me Roots. Don't show me that because I don't want to see you beating my people or degrading my people or making my people feel bad. I
I
mean,
agree. I honestly agree, and I also feel as though when it comes down to Black history, a lot of our own people don't know our own history.
you better
Uh,
say it.
a lot of us don't know our own history, and a lot of us feel like I wasn't there. So how much information can I? Does it actually make sense? What am I actually? What am I actually getting into? So when it comes down to it and understanding who we are, I think that's why I actually decided to take the journey that I'm taking now for the last 2 years.
Let's talk about it.
So I've been plant based for the last 2 years, and the reason why I started this journey was because I just was interested in wanting and wanting to understand exactly what Dr. Sebi was talking about. So so I was a little confused, like this man he's talking about doing things that we learn in school that it don't teach you no further than exactly what the disease is.
Yeah, yeah.
So once I got into understanding just a little bit of what he was talking about, which we got into the perspective of disease, right? So what is the perspective of disease? And this is how it connected into Black culture because it's more of understanding that our biological structure aren't supposed to, take these processed foods and unbalanced diets in terms of just more meat than anything else, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and preach everybody to be plant-based, but I'm just saying how this played a part of my journey. So within my journey, I would say within a year, I accumulated a lot of knowledge. And one of the things that stuck with me that made me want to dig in more is that our bodies are made out of water.
Out of what?
Out of water, right?
Okay,
Water.
okay.
Our cells are made out of H3O2 water, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this water is found is not H2O water. You're not gonna find this water in meat. You're not gonna find this water in the store and inside you go inside, go get your drink. You're not gonna find that there, right? So this water is made this water is basically inside of fruit. So H3O2. So we're talking about cucumbers, watermelon. We're talking about limes. So grapes, seeded grapes. So I know everyone probably thinking like, what's this kid talking about? But when it comes down to it and understanding that our history didn't start at slavery, right?
No.
So our people were already hip and understood the way of life. And to be honest, when it comes to America, Christopher Columbus ain't find nothing. So, so if we being honest, there
Go ahead. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Scientifically proven that there were already people here in America, melanated people here in America, right? So when we talk about it, if we're being honest, there were already a way of life. There was already a way of life. And some people continue. And when it comes to being a population, a specific population being taken over, or being captive in terms and becoming slaves, and not actually being informed probably on what was going on, and forced, like you said before, to be in these certain situations to fulfill other people's destinies, culture begins to die off. Culture begins to fall right off. So we don't know about the important names and a lot of them, the important things that we need to know, even when it comes down to understanding our ancestors and who we are as people.
Yes.
Right? So we grow up in America, and then we grow up with other people culture. We grow up with other types of people holidays. We grow up with other types of people knowledge. And
yes,
from what I know, being taught in high school and college, we're learning about, when we're talking about the biological structure and in terms of our bodies, we're learning about a 40-year-old plus man when it comes to psychology, when it comes to understanding the body. We don't never talk about the black man or black woman body, right?
No.
So I when it comes down to it, it's also understanding that the information that we're getting into is basically is here for us, what they're giving us. All we know is what they give us, right?
Yes.
The same way we go to the store and we only get what they give us, right?
Which is garbage.
Right. So now when it comes back into being plant-based and understanding the knowledge, I said, well, how can I like imply this knowledge? How can I use this for myself? What can I do? How can I take steps into being not a vegan, but plant-based? How can I take steps into understanding my own body? So I started to take my time in getting into holistic medicine and understanding about the first part of healing, which is cleansing our bodies. So what a lot of our melanated people don't know is that our biological structure, our bodies are beautiful. Our bodies are beautiful. Male and woman, our bodies are beautiful. Whether you darker shades, whether you lighter, there's different types of melanin also, which a lot of people don't understand. So we don't even understand each other, but we be quick to judge each other. But that's another conversation. So,
but you telling the truth.
Right. Right. So I started to understand. I said, okay, so if everything that we needed was already here for us, if the same water that's inside our body is inside of fruit, why are we trying so hard to make processed foods? Why are we trying so hard to take in unhealthy and fake protein? What is protein? Right? So now we starting to get into this. So now that I'm starting to understand, I'm like, okay, so I was eating meat for 20 years, 21 years, right? 20 years. I was eating meat for 20 years. And I started to realize it was the same pattern. It was the same pattern. The same things were happening. The same ways that I'm feeling. And then eventually it becomes generational, right? It becomes generational. So then we have older generations that don't understand that. As a man, if I ejaculate inside of a woman and I don't have the healthiest diet, right? And my wife or my woman don't have the healthiest diet, now we have created a weakened cell, right? So now this cell, and this is not for every child, but this is what goes on. So now our kids are coming out with eczema. Our kids are coming out with asthma. Our kids are coming out with other type of diseases, and we don't understand why. We don't understand why at all. We think that disease is generational, right? Because if diabetes runs in my family, and I continue to eat the same diet, it'll make sense that eventually I'll become, I'll be positive for a certain disease, and most likely it'll be diabetes, right? So what we have to understand, okay, how can we reverse this? What is the persona of disease? What does it mean, right? So the body, the processed foods, all the dead meat, all of these things create inflame. Inflame means to be on fire, right? So our bodies are so smart, right? Just to go back to what I just said before. The black woman body is so smart that our body creates mucus to put out the inflammation, right? So it creates mucus, and then what we do is we cough out the mucus, or it comes out our nose, right? Or in the morning we see it's in our eyes, right? Or we use the bathroom and it comes literally all the waste comes out our urine, out of our urine, out of our urine from the kidneys, from filtering the waste, right? So when you think about it, okay, so my body puts out the inflammation and creates mucus, and I'm coughing it up, and we call this a cold.
Yeah.
But we get medicine for the cold when our body is already doing the job, because we're the ones who already put the inflammation in the body, right? So I don't want to take it too far, but I want to make sure I keep it as simple as possible. I don't want to go too far, you know. So now specifically when inflammation or a parasite gets inside of the pancreas is what literally creates insulin and glucose from alpha cells and beta cells, right? So this is what creates ATP for us to do what we're doing right now, for us to communicate, for us to move every day, for us to get up and do what we love to do. So when our body isn't creating these things, our organs begin to shut down. But the reasoning is why aren't we able to create more glucose? Why isn't my own body able to create insulin? If I was made in God's image, why am I dying because of dis-ease, right? And then we think that this is normal. You grow old and you die because of dis-ease. It is not normal. This, like I said before, this has become generational. The same way, like we talk about slavery, you begin to learn other people's cultures. You begin to take on other people's holidays. You begin to take on the impression of television. When you're just looking at television, you're looking at hope. If you keep watching TV, you're not chasing your dreams. How you going to succeed? You get what I'm saying? If you're stuck in your daily habits, how are you going to succeed? You get what I'm saying? So when we don't understand ourselves, obviously we're being controlled in ways you don't understand, right? So now when we think about it, now all of our culture is out the window. All of our culture is out the window, and now it's everybody for themselves. And our young black men, everything is everybody for themselves. Even when it comes down to family, everything is everybody for themselves. There's always a war. There's always a problem. There's never an understanding. There's always just everybody for themselves, right? So we don't even understand each other to the point where you got to look out for yourself all the time. Yeah. and that's a problem. And it got to a point where I started to see, like, even when I try to preach the information of sharing the information of healing, it's like, okay, well, that might work for you, but that's not going to work for me. Or, well, I don't necessarily think that's true, because how am I survive without meat? How is my body going to survive without meat? But
I did it for 10 years.
And I'm on it for 2 right now. I feel amazing right now. I love it. And what we don't understand is that is something that we just don't need. That is something that we just don't need. We're literally processing, and we're processing conscious beings, other conscious beings. So literally, this is energy transferring. The energy that we have going on is great. Imagine how it will be in person in an engaging conversation, exchanging energy. So when you're eating dead products, right? And I'm not judging anyone. I'm just saying what happens when you consume a lot of animal product, right? So now when we're consuming this dead product, we're taking on trauma. Remember, it was killed. We're taking on anxiety, right? The same way when people die, we pray, we hope that the transfer to the afterlife is a beautiful thing, because that's the whole point of prayer. Energy, we're hoping the best, right? So now you're taking on trauma, you're taking on anxiety, you're taking on inflammation. The cow that you was eating get its protein from grass, and you eating the cow. So how much protein are you really getting? So when you think about these things, all I'm really creating is inflammation inside the body, right? So now my cell, let's go back to the pancreas for diabetes. Your organs are made up out of cells, little tiny cells that create the organs, right? So literally, if my cells are inflamed, that means they're dehydrated. It's not getting enough of what it needs, right? So now when it comes from dehydration and inflammation, we know that tendinitis is inflammation, right? We know that arthritis is just inflammation. So it's a buildup of inflammation somewhere in the body that hasn't been accumulating for over the years. And now the doctor is giving you certain medicines to help with one thing, but mess up the other, right? So when you think about it, these things, these things aren't really good for us. A lot of these, and it's because a lot of pus in the body. Yes, that's true, right? So now that's a good example because our bodies our arteries tends to clog up, and there's not enough blood flow. So now we got our women and men getting amputated. They are different stages of diabetes and different stages of different sickness, and when it comes down to understanding who we are, we have to understand that we don't need nothing from nobody else. Everything that God gave us is right in front of us.
We just gotta look. But you know what? Now, the title of this show is "I Do It for My Culture," and I'm glad that you brought out all those different points and stuff. But a lot of stuff with the meats and stuff, because you know, during slavery, they didn't cook no meal for you. So whatever was left over from the big house, that's what was brought over to you. So all the different scraps and stuff that was given, that was your food.
Right.
So it comes down to like you said, all these different sicknesses, all these different diseases and stuff. We have the ability to heal it, but we continue to add more into our body. Thank you for everything that you said, because I really wanted to hear it. But now I want to move on to the rest of the part of the show because I'm running like a little bit late. But thank you for that. And we will be talking about that more later, even on a sidebar, because I like that. And Doc, you said Dr. Sebi?
Dr. Sebi, yes.
Sebi, because my husband reads about him too. So he's into plant-based and all of that too. So I know exactly what you were talking about. So when we talk about culture, I feel that when you understand your culture, it gives you a sense of identity and belonging.
Right.
So I feel that if knowing what your ancestors went through and what they had to sacrifice to make things work for you, I think it's important that people know this right here. Again, this is why I don't care about that Black History Month. And I'm sorry, you guys, but you know what I say, my mind, my thoughts. I don't care at all about Black History Month because you're Black 365 days a year. So if you miss that 28th or that 29th day, you're assed out. You know, you're not going to find out nothing else about Black history until next year. This is why I don't believe in it. This is why I say, people, you let your kids go to school to learn math, reading, and all that other good stuff. But when it comes down to history, you got to educate your own kids. And I think that you mentioned that people say it's not me, so they don't care. And I believe that, because if you notice, other people know more about our history than we do. And why is that?
Right.
But why do you think that is? Because they care. It has nothing to do with them, but by learning somebody else's history, it teaches you more about that person. It teaches you why they react the way they act. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I definitely agree. I definitely think that's true. And that plays. I think that also shows like where we are as people. Like I said before, when it comes to the distractions, and you know, we feel like the things that are important aren't important
because it's not happening to me right now.
Right.
So I said it at the beginning, right, that in Florida that they want to take a Black history out of colleges and stuff. Why? What I mean, now you think about this right here. Now, do you know how powerful it is, or what type of kryptonite it must be that they want to take it out of schools? Why is it that they don't want us to know who we are? Why is it that they don't know that we go beyond just being slaves and stuff, or bed warmers, or any of that other nonsense? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. They know our history, but why is it not important to us to know our own history?
I would say there's really no explanation for it, but I feel like them blocking out history kind of starts more problems, because as much as we want to know our history, if we're being honest, nowadays our culture is more woke than ever. We're definitely more woke than ever. So of course that law will come out of nowhere, right? Of course that law will come out of nowhere, and like you said before, it's going to trickle down into going into other states. And however, nothing changed since it was like how it was before. When did they ever want us to win as people?
Exactly.
When have they ever wanted us to win? But see, we have to win ourselves to win. We have to want more for ourselves. We have to learn how to not be comfortable. And I think that plays a major part. And once we tap into that and understanding how powerful we are and how we don't need nobody to see who we are. We need to realize who we are, and that's when the magic gonna start. I think that's when reality is gonna kick in, when we start to understand and we come to reality like, okay, we don't need nobody else's approval. We don't need nobody else's, we don't need nobody else's approval for anything when it comes to life. We have to create our own way of life. And I think if we start right now, the future will look bright. Definitely.
They better get up and start. Because like Kay just said, they want us to lack awareness. And she's 100% right. Because the less you know, the less that you're going to do. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad. And it's to the point whereas every time I talk about Black history and stuff like this, right, it really, really like gets me like upset. So I'm trying to like just stay calm with it. But they have it so that we're like little kids. You know what I'm saying? We can't do nothing on our own. You got to sit back and wait for somebody to tell you what to do. You got to sit back and wait for somebody to show you what to do instead of just going out and just doing it for yourself. But people have been sitting back on their thumbs for so long doing absolutely nothing.
Yes.
It's like the new norm. Nobody wants to do anything. So it's like recently my family had a family reunion. We were up to like our like number 70th family reunion. You know how much history and stuff it is into that? And people don't get it. So when I talk to people, they're like, man, you going into 70 years for your family reunion? Yeah, we are going into 70 years for a family reunion. Well, the thing that people don't realize, my grandfather, he died like in 1954. So he was like pretty young when he died. But during that time, he had about 64 acres of land. For a Black man during that time, that was unheard of.
Wow.
But to me, it's something important. You know what I'm saying? So you have traditions, you have things that you go back to. So like every year we go back there, we look at that land and we see what it is. And then like just this past year, we went down and I'm saying we got to educate these younger kids. So it's nice to go down to see the family, but we still have the house there that we all grew up in. I mean, it's falling down now, but we still have the house there that we all grew up in. You know what I'm saying? Right. 64 acres of land back then. Wow. And he was able to pass it on to his grandkids. You know what I'm saying? So with his kids, he had 8 kids and 24 grandkids. So now this is our legacy. This is what we have to pass on. So I think that it's important that people know the culture and know exactly what's going on. So now my kids, my grandkids, my nieces and my nephew, they know, listen, you could do more than just be a slave. You could do more than just sit around and wait for somebody to tell you, oh, go do this and go do that. It's a lot of stuff that can be done. But when you sit down and you go into these schools, they're not telling you this. Now, I don't knock Martin Luther King because he did his thing his way. I don't knock Malcolm X. He did his thing his way, but they were both doing the same thing, but they were just doing it in a different way. Right. But now society wants you to think now that just because you are proud of who you are, is something wrong with it. So I'm looking at your face. I'm looking at my face. Both of us are Black people, but we have 2 different tones of Black. Why is it wrong for one of us to be darker than the other? Or should I say, why does it have to be a problem because of the color of the skin? Right. And the thing that, I'm so sorry, like I tell you, it bothers me. So the thing that people don't realize, right? Black people come in so many different colors. So then the question is, who was the first man? Was it the Black man or the white man? So I'm gonna tell you now. Somebody gonna get mad and say that I don't know what I'm talking about and that I'm crazy, but I'm far from being crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you take a cup of white milk and you put it there on the table and you pour some blue ink in it, what color is that milk? That milk is blue. So White cannot produce anything but white. White is a base color. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that there's anything wrong with it, but it's a base color. So as a black race of people, we have to see how important we are to the human race. Yeah, it's so many different color. There's different colors of black people, but when
Yes.
it comes down to the white or Caucasian race, it's only one color, and that's white.
Yes, I would love
Cannot
to
make.
comment on that. I would
Huh?
love to, I would love to comment on that.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, if I'm being honest, I have learned that when it comes to the Caucasian race, they are a recessive gene, right?
Right.
So they have recessive genes, and melanated people. I'm not
Right.
going to say African American. I'm going to say melanated people overall are. We have dominant genes. We have literally what's the word? Prokaryotic cells, right? So we have 150 trillion cells. Shout out to Yaki Awaken because he put me on the knowledge. We have 150 trillion cells, melanated people, right? So we have dominant genes. We have dominant genes. Caucasian people have recessive genes. Now, a black man can create a baby with a white woman and create a black child.
Yeah.
Never saw an all white baby from a you know, you get what I'm about to say. I just don't want to, you know, I don't want to be wrong, or I don't want to say that too crazy. But all I'm saying is that our genes are dominant, and when it comes to us as people, as a population, we're always going to dominate. Mixing with the Caucasian race, our race will always dominate.
Yes.
Always. So, like you said, yes, they are basic. I don't want to say too basic. I want to be very respectful, but I feel as though if we just understood who we were, if we just understood, a lot of things wouldn't even phase us. The way we operate would change, honestly.
Let me just answer Sandy. So Sandy, to answer your question about what they teach in Black history, and you said that it's your opinion, and you know what I always say, my mind, my thoughts. But it says that they want to take it out of school because they're not teaching the truth. They're not teaching anything at all. They're not teaching anything at all because a lot of things that we use every day, refrigerators, irons, trains, cars, lights, just to name a few. That's all Black history. Because those are things that were invented by Black people. And again, they had to sell it because they didn't have the money to patent it. So they sold it for a mere fraction, peanuts, of what it's actually worth. Because you know now, you need lights. You need a refrigerator. You need an iron, wash machine, dryer, street lights. You need it. And they're not teaching that. They're not teaching that in school. I mean, listen, shout out to Rosa Parks. I'm not taking nothing from her. Shout out to Martin Luther King. I don't take anything from him. But there is so much more to it than just those two. Let me see. I have all these different things. Cultural awareness. You know what I'm saying? It promotes understanding and respect for different cultures. So the more you know about yourself, the more you can understand about other people.
Right.
Now, we talk about Black people, we talk about white people, and neither one of them is bad. Let me put that out there because I want y'all to think, oh, you know, Kula went on there and she said this. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that they have their history, we have our history. And just like you're up on their history, you need to be up on your own history too. Listen, I always talk about myself. So I'm gonna tell you, when I was young and I didn't even know the difference between being Black and being white. When I started school, there was a Black school and a white school. And I went to the Black school, but I never even knew the name of the school because all I knew was Black school and white school. Going to school and sitting on the bus, sitting beside a white girl. I remember this is plain as day. Sitting beside this girl, and like I said, not knowing the difference between everything that was going on, I used to go home and cry because my hair wasn't like hers. You know what I'm saying? Why I have to have my hair braided? Why my hair can't be out? You know what I'm saying? Because nobody was telling me, nobody was teaching me, nobody was making me understand. You know what I'm saying? So here I am because of everything that we're being taught, everything that we're being forced to adopt, like the religion, the education, and all of that. I'm falling in line just like everybody else. But now that I'm older and that third eye is wide open and I can see, and I'm just like, damn, what was going on back then? But back during that time, my parents, my grandparents, they were not woke at all as the way that we are, and they didn't discuss stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So instead of explaining to me the difference between me and this girl, no, your hair has to be braided. You know what I'm saying? Of course I'm gonna cry because that's not an answer. I want my hair out too.
It's understandable. That's understandable, but however, that's definitely understandable, and I feel like a lot of people probably went through similar situations.
Yeah.
When it comes back to the knowledge and melanated people, our hair grow towards the sun. We are sun beings. Our hair are extensions of our nervous system. Our hair does more than just be hair. Our hair senses. Our hair is melanated. So when it comes down to understanding your hair, you know, it definitely has some importance. It definitely has some importance. And I just would love to say I wish our women had more confidence today. That, you know, and I wish they understood who they were. I think that I feel like as black men, that will even make us more stronger. You know, that will make us more stronger. I feel like a lot of our women today don't understand themselves. A lot of people today have fake bodies. A lot of people today are, you know, like a lot of people are going into that type of world. They want to look a whole different way than who they are. And it's like, I just find that so crazy and intriguing when it comes to the bodies, you know, those different things, because it's like, who are you? What are you doing? You know? I mean,
wait, hold on a second. Maggie, yeah. His name is Jalil. That's his name.
Oh, hi, Maggie.
Go ahead, now what you were saying.
Yeah, I was just saying, I just wish that we just were a little bit more conscious and understand how these certain things can harm our bodies. And we just paid a little bit more attention to ourselves. I think when it comes to negative thoughts, we get so stuck in anxiety, we get so stuck in depression, we get so stuck into, well, what if, or well, why can't I? Or I wonder, you know, or why not me? And yeah. It's so much more to that. It's so much more.
It is. And like you mentioned the hair, and it's funny because my husband says all the time, like he said, okay, everybody is natural now, but it's a fad. So give them a little while and they're gonna go back to what they were doing before.
Right.
Because they don't understand what it's all about to have your hair just natural. So now, listen, I used to have my hair in what you call that thing? I used to have a perm in my hair too. So I'm not knocking perm, but now they saying what? It's causing cancer. It's so much. So it's like you said, you got to learn about yourself. Sandy said our ancestors were woke. They read the stars, listened to the wind, and didn't want to alter their hair. Hey, I agree with you. And that's something else too. I was talking to one of my cousins today, and I was saying that back during that time with our ancestors, they wore braids, right? And they wore nice, pretty braids. I mean, and to us, it was just like, oh man, that's a nice style, but it wasn't a style. You know what I'm saying? They had maps and stuff in their heads trying to show the next one. Listen, check out my head so you know which direction you're going when you try to break up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Right. And a lot of people don't understand that. Go ahead. I know you got something. Go ahead.
Yes. That's crazy because that's true. That's definitely true. And it makes you wonder, like, what was going on at that time? And a lot of people can't even imagine being alive at that time or going through any of the experience those people have went through. But one thing that I wish that they taught in our school is that our history did not start at slavery.
You better say it. You
better I just wish they taught that. I really wish they taught that. And our history definitely did not start at slavery. When it comes to, they tell you that people were brought from boats to other sides of the world. You weren't here to experience that, to show that. You wasn't here to see that yourself. You know, so not saying that partial of that isn't true, but our story didn't start there. Our story didn't start there. Not at all. Because like you said, I'm sorry not to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Like you said, the knowledge that we have brought and what they have taken from us, it's a war going on in Congo right now for minerals. to continue making iPhones. There's a war right now. There are kids dying. There are families dying in Congo, in Africa, right now, for minerals, because the minerals that are inside the soil are what creates this technology that we use here in America. But we're blocked off from that. You know what I'm saying? We don't see that, right? But our history started from slavery. That makes no sense when you go into other cultures for riches, for for things that we don't have here. So
don't forget the diamonds. Don't forget the diamonds that's over there.
Right. Diamonds, gold, everything. Even not understanding that we have gold in our body, right? We have a percentage of gold in our body. Our ancestors didn't wear gold for show. They didn't wear gold for no reason. So what you have to understand is a lot of history and knowledge. It's a lot of history and knowledge that we have to definitely be hip to and tap into. There's a reason why people are more excited about our culture than us. We are that. That's why we aren't that excited. You get what I'm saying? But there's a reason why they want to know so much. There's a reason why their women want to look like you. There's a reason why. There really is a reason why. The same way our women feel a certain way about themselves, and imagine how they feel too. Also, we just don't hear about that. We just don't hear about that.
Oh, yes, we do. We hear about it because that's when they go in and they get them butt implants and they get those breast implants and all this. You hearing about it? Yeah, you definitely hearing about it. But I just want everybody to know, educate your kids on their culture. Don't let them think that we've never done anything. Don't let them feel that they are a second-class citizen, because they're not. They're not second-class citizens. There's so much that you can teach your kids that you're not going to find in the book. And the thing about it today is, back when I was younger, that wasn't too many years back, but a couple of years back, when I was younger, you used to have to go to the library. You used to have to sit down and go through the encyclopedias and look up all of this information. But today, with everything being the way it is today, you don't even have to do any of that, because you could just go right to your phone and you could just hit it and everything pops up.
Right. That's true.
So it's really no excuse for people not knowing their history. It's no excuse for other people. Thank you, Michelle. It's no excuse for other people knowing more about you than you know about yourself. But then you wonder why you always be getting used and played and you always be sitting on the sideline. It's because they know your history. They already know your next step. You know what I'm saying? So I like to tell people, why everybody else is sitting around playing checkers, I'm playing chess. You know what I'm saying? I don't play checkers. I play chess.
I like that.
And that's the problem right there. Everybody's sitting there waiting for somebody to give them something. Be proud of who you are. Be proud of your ancestors, what was left for you. Be proud of all of that. You may not know everything that's going on, but be proud of what you have. I mean, I don't know how many times I can say that. I'm getting ready to end it because I've gone over my 30 minutes, but I know. But it's good. It's good. I don't know if you guys can see what's behind me, but I'm going to hold it up. My shirt, my hoodie right here says, you can see it? Am I going the right way? Oh, now y'all see it? My hoodie says, powered by the Black woman before me. And I'm going to leave it just like that.
Right.
Oh, I'm going to do that now. I'm gonna leave it just like that. But Jaleel, before we end this, and thank you, because
thank you.
I learned a lot myself. You have any last comments before? Wait a minute, hold on. Anybody that's in here, if you want to enter this raffle so that you could get something from DeMarcus store, I'm only doing for 3, right? So you need to make your way over to this timeline and say hello, thumbs up, something, so you can automatically be entered into this raffle. Okay. All right, Sandy, we'll talk. So Jaleel, any last words that you want to give him?
Yes, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be on the show. I was excited. I definitely was excited from last week. I'm definitely would love to do it again. I love what you're promoting. I love the merch. We already spoke about that. I love it. I love these conversations. I love sharing knowledge. I love learning, because that's the point of knowledge. We're here to learn. We're here to experience. That's why we're conscious. So I definitely appreciate it, and I'd love to be on your show again.
Well, that's a given. You know what I'm saying? I would definitely bring you back on. And if anybody who haven't made their way over to the store, you better go over to the store to see what we're talking about. Because in the store, our motto in the store is Black, woke, and spiritual. And when I say spiritual, I don't mean from a religious point of view. I mean from a spiritual, from like a connection. You understand what I'm saying? The
Right.
universe, or everything just coming together. It's not just about being religious. It's about knowing who you are. Okay? So what we're going to do now, I am going, Jaleel, they're saying thank you.
Thank you.
So without further ado, I am going to do this raffle so we can end this right here. Let's see. Get a winner. I don't know if this person should win or not. Man, the winner is you, so I'm gonna take somebody else besides you. So no, he's being disqualified. Okay. So let's see. The next person is, hey, Kay. You got that one. Let's see who else we got. Alvin, that's my little brother. He got one. And last but not least, my girl said. So what you guys have to do, you guys can just inbox me. Just first you got to go to the store, pick out something that you want. Inbox me with your size, your color, the correct spelling of your name, and your address. Okay? And a photo. Please send me a screenshot and send me a photo of what you want so that I can make sure that I get the right item for you. So again, the winners are Kay Drizzy, Alvin Isom, and Cynthia Green. Thank each and every one of you guys for joining us. Jaleel, thank you for coming up with all this information and stuff, because I would definitely like to sit down and have more conversation and everything with you.
Yes, I love to.
Yes. You guys, thank you for being so patient with us tonight. I hope you guys learned something from this. I hope you guys took something away from this right here. If you got kids, sit down and start educating your kids. Thank you guys again for being so patient. We'll be back next weekend. I just have to come up with something as great as what this right here was, but we'll be back. So again, Kay Drizzy, Alvin Isom, and Cindy Green. Pick out something from the store, screenshot it, send it to me. Send me your size, your color, the correct spelling of your name, and your address so I can get these right here sent out to you. Okay? Thank you guys for joining me. It was great. And Black, woke, and spiritual. Okay? Love you guys. Bye-bye.